There's a Facebook group of sisters asking brothers to travel with them, and that right there is reason enough for me to skip the peace greeting. Now, to those of you in the audience, the hostility, my normal audience, the hostility is not towards you. To everyone, let me state that the good intentions of whoever started this will not negate the reasons that we shines shouldn't travel with any of you sisters to whom we're not related or married. Now, granted, I am one of those who is in favor of chastity, and I mean male chastity. But the reasons that no shine should travel with any of you outside of being closely related or married have to do with chastity and the fact that it's not about chastity with you. See, control of sexual access with you is only about power. And that is why you followed behind, if not surpassed, Karens in sexless marriages. Chastity is as much about satisfying your spouse and not cheating on your spouse as it is about not bumping uglies while unmarried. It's actually more about the first two than the last one, the third one, which is why in the Sharia, the married fornicator, meaning the adulterer in English, gets stoned to death if caught by enough witnesses and the burden of proof is met. Now that burden of proof is almost impossible, and the witnesses can be questioned as to how and why they even saw such. But it takes 4 of them, and once there is a conviction for it in our legal system, the death penalty is applicable. That is the penalty. It's death by stoning. The married one cheating is not like the single person fornicating, man or woman, and this is what chastity is about. You as Western women in general, not just you sisters, but as Western women, you think of 6 as something that is too good for a normal man, and I'm not referring to the number that comes after 5. And therefore you owe neither that nor anything else a man might like to any man at all, even if it's something you like. Crimson Cure has already told us what your attitude is about it. So oftentimes when you do say no, it's only because you're not attracted and because you don't want to please a particular guy. It's not really because of chastity. So I have to address that to address this topic of why it is that none of us should travel with any of you outside of being closely related or married. Regardless of the intentions of the individual that may have started that group, you in general would like for a man to travel to accompany your group so that that man can act as a bodyguard, but actually an attack dog. Carry your heavy bags that you will overpack, and pick up some of the tabs for the restaurants at which you will order the expensive items. And truth is, I have heard of sisters ordering based on price alone, and this is something that I can look at a woman and tell if she will do or not. These men that would take you up on traveling are not the men you have as sneaky links. You would neither cook for, clean for, nor launder clothes for these men ever. You certainly would not screw these men, and if that was based on chastity, you would not be looking to travel alone with them either. It's based on control and you getting off on being as sexually difficult to better men as you can be. And the men you would screw aren't interested in traveling with you anyway, unless you pay their way and they don't have to carry those heavy bags for you. Now maybe you would accept such from them, maybe not. But the issue is that you're not asking for normal or better men to travel with you for any reason except your own benefit. Also, you're aware of the change in your reputation because, frankly, more of you going out in groups, traveling in groups of only each other, no men in sight, you have been approached in ways you don't like. Some of you gold dig. Some of you dig for a lack of melanin. Whatever the case is, whichever man you don't want is the one that's been approaching you, even when you're in groups. Foreign men and women alike know that you drove us away, though. I tell foreign men this in a heartbeat to make sure that black men's reputation isn't tied to yours. I don't want black men's of any nationality's reputation tied to the reputation of you who come out of the Western nations. Because we actually are individuals about everything in life, whereas you Western sisters are individuals except when it comes to men, at which point you choose only the same few and everyone can see this. See, in the world is learning more about you and that Karen that you follow and sometimes even surpassed, and they know why it is that Karens and you travel in groups with no man in sight. You have been hit up by men you don't want from other nations like waiters. And that is because some of these same men that you don't want have already gotten lucky with other sisters that were okay with the roll in the hay with these guys. Didn't mind their low-paying jobs because these guys are just not us shines. Because see, those of you that are gold diggers have to deal with the blowback or the results of some guys getting lucky from others of you who are simply diggers of the lack of melanin. You don't like when just any old man comes up to you, and these guys can't dance, or they can't dance to your music, or that's how you generally feel. I mean, you look at them and you say, well, I mean, he's not one of them shines, but he is still weak sauce. And that's not what you're looking for. But you like traveling, and so now you want to shine and be there to validate you and to protect you. No. Gentlemen, this is a time to take the rules of chastity and apply it to traveling. Do not travel with a sister to whom you're not married or closely related. If it is a business trip, travel a day after her so that you aren't helping her with her bags and stuff, and you're not waiting on her to be ready for the ride to the airport, because believe me, she won't be early. And if she's late and you're supposed to go with her, she's not about to say she delayed everything. Western women don't do that. If she's a business partner, you simply make the valid excuse that you travel separately because you aren't married and that HR asked you to do so for legal reasons. Do not travel with Karen, Becky, Amber, or Sapphire. You will be used, and when you don't agree to being used, they can accuse you of anything, and you might not make that flight back home. I hope this has been of benefit. Thank you for listening. Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout, Assalamu Alaikum. And as always, black heterosexual, non-select male power, because she doesn't like it, in black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day.